Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, how are you? I hope everyone is just fine as I am now. Today in EPP2A Unit 3, Likes and Dislikes, we are going to learn something new. The goal of the lesson today is, at the end, you have to be able to make sentences with the concept of relative clause. But before we get into the business, there is a hadith and wise words that we all have to remember. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. He is with you where you may be, and Allah is seeing your deeds. From this hadith, we know that Allah is watching us right now, and He watched us in the past, and will keep watching us all the time. That's why we must be able to control our heart, our body, and our activities to be always positive. The next is wise words by Albert Einstein. He said that science without religion is lame, and religion without science is blind. From this quote, we have to understand that every human being's life must be balanced between science and religion. We cannot take one and leave the other. Science and religion are in one package. Okay, without another ado, let's dive into the lesson. Relative clause. How to use who, whom, which, and that in relative clause. One thing that you have to remember, who and whom are for people. Which and that are for things, for non-human. Well, actually, in advanced English, a word that can be used for people too. But right now we are learning the basic. So remember again, who and whom are for people, which and that are for things. The other thing that you have to remember is there are two kinds of relative clause. Subject clauses and object clauses. Subject and object. Who, which, and that are for subject clauses, and whom, which, and that are for object clauses. I'll repeat. Who, which, and that are for subject clauses, and whom, which, and that are for object clauses. So who is for subject, whom is for object, and which and that, they can be used both, either in subject or in object clauses. What is meant by subject clause? Take a look at this example. There are two sentences. Budi is a student, and Budi comes from Semarang. As you can see that Budi on the second sentence is a subject, right? And that's why it's called subject clause, because Budi is a subject. And because Budi is a person and he is a subject, so we have to use who, not using which or that. So then if we combine the two sentences above into one, it will be like this. Budi is a student who comes from Semarang. Yeah? Budi is a student who comes from Semarang. Okay, now try this out. She likes painters, blah blah blah, use lots of color. What's the answer? Is it who, whom, which, or that? In order to be able to answer this, try to use this way. Split the sentence into two. She likes painters. Painters use lots of color. Since painters on the second sentence is a subject, and painters are people, so we have to use who. So the answer is, she likes painters who use lots of color. We are still talking about subject clause. The next example is, drone is a new gadget. Drone helps people to film from above. Drone on the second sentence is a subject. That's why it's called subject clause. And drone is a thing. It's non-human. So we have to use which or that. We cannot use who in this case. And now please try this out. Comics or stories, blah blah blah, have pictures. What's the answer? Is it who, whom, which, or that? Use the same technique to answer this question. Split the sentence into two. Comics are stories, and comics have pictures. Since comics on the second sentence is a subject, comics are things, they are non-human, so we have to use which or that. We cannot use who. So the answers are comics or stories which have pictures, or comics or stories that have picture. Both are correct. And now we are going to discuss object clause. What is meant by object clause? Take a look at this example. There are two sentences. I am disappointed with Dave, and I have trusted Dave for so long. As you can see that Dave on the second sentence is an object, right? That's why it's called object clause. And because Dave is a person and he is an object, so we have to use whom, not using who or which. Then if we combine the two sentences into one, it will be I am disappointed with Dave, whom I have trusted for so long. And now try this out. Baldan is the boy blah 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 I met at the bookstore. What's the answer? Is it who, whom, which, or that? To answer this question, we can use the same technique. Baldan is the boy blah 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 I met at a bookstore. So we have to split the sentence into two. Baldan is the boy and I met Baldan at the bookstore. Since Baldan on the second sentence, as you can see there, he is an object and Baldan is a human, so we have to use whom. Sometimes it's okay to leave out the whom. And the answer will be like this. Baldan is the boy whom I met at a bookstore. Or you can simply say, Baldan is the boy I met at a bookstore. We are still discussing object clauses. Now, take a look at these two sentences. These are the shoes. You need the shoes for the dance. The shoes is an object. That's why it's called object clause. And the shoes are things, so we have to use which or that. We are not allowed to use whom. Then, if we combine the two sentences, it will be these are the shoes which you need for the dance. Or these are the shoes that you need for the dance. Or you can simply say these are the shoes you need for the dance. And now please try this out, everyone. She brought the cake blah 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 she had bought in Malang. What is the answer? Who, whom, which, or that? To answer this, again, you have to split the sentence into two. She brought the cake. She had bought the cake in Malang. The cake on the second sentence is an object, and the cake is a thing. So we have to use which or that. And sometimes it's okay to leave out the which or that. So then there are three possible answers for this question. She brought the cake which she had bought in Malang. She brought the cake that she had bought in Malang. And she brought the cake she bought in Malang. And for the conclusion, I want you to take a look again at this. Who and whom are for people, remember? And which and that are for things. And then who, which, and that are for subject clauses, and whom, which, and that are for object clauses. And now it's the time for the exercises, everyone. Number 1. A pilot is a person blah 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 flies an airplane. What's the answer? Is it who, which, whom, or that? Can you guess? Well, the answer is A, who. Now, number 2. COVID-19 is a new virus, blah blah blah, has caused chaos and panic worldwide. What's the answer? Well, the answer is B. Which? Number 3. An actor is a person blah 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 works in films and plays. What's the answer? Well, the answer is A. Who? Okay, let's make this quick. Number 4. Singing is a job, blah blah blah, requires an outstanding vocal range. What's the answer? The answer is D. That. Next, number 5. He's my brother, blah blah blah, everyone is talking about. What's the answer? The answer is C. Whom? Number 6. The thief stole the car, blah blah blah, I rent it. What's the answer? The answer is B. That. Okay, now number 7. I like the guitar, blah blah blah, you bought in Spain. What's the answer? The answer is B. No word is needed. So it's I like the guitar you bought in Spain. But you can also answer I like the guitar which you bought in Spain. You can also answer I like the guitar that you bought in Spain. Number 8. He was the king, blah blah blah, people really loved. What's the answer? The answer is C. Whom? Okay, number 9. Nocturnal is a kind of animal, blah blah blah, is active during the night and sleeping during the day. What's the answer? The answer is D. Which? Okay, this is the last question. Music can bring happiness, blah blah blah, people are always looking for. What's the answer? The answer is B. That. This is the end of our lesson. Thank you so much for paying attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.